Hey, welcome! Today, we're jumping into a topic that's frankly way more relevant to all of us than we might think. We're talking about how to build a better brain and fend off Alzheimer's. And it all kicks off with this one, single, pretty arresting idea.
Yeah, just let that one sink in for a second. This isn't some far-off problem for when you get old. All the research is pointing to this. The seeds of Alzheimer's, they're often planted right in the middle of our lives, sometimes decades before a single symptom shows up. It's a really shocking way to look at it, I know, but you know what? That's also where all of our power is.
Now, before that shock starts to feel like dread, look at this number. Honestly, this is the most important statistic we're going to talk about today. 95%. So, what in the world does that mean? It means that for 95% of cases, Alzheimer's is not some genetic roll of the dice you can't escape. It's not a disease of fate. For the overwhelming majority of us, it is a disease of lifestyle. And that one fact, it changes everything. It flips this whole conversation from something to be scared of into something you can actually do something about. It's all about empowerment.
So let's start at the beginning, which, as we've just figured out, is way, way earlier than most of us thought. And really, getting a handle on this timeline is the absolute key to preventing it.
Okay, so first, a super quick clarification. You hear the word dementia a lot. Well, think of dementia as the big umbrella term for cognitive decline. Alzheimer's is a very specific type of dementia, and it's caused by those two culprits you've probably heard of, amyloid and tau proteins. But here's the most crucial part of this whole slide. It is not a normal part of aging. It's not inevitable.
And this timeline just lays it all out so clearly. Our brains pretty much hit their peak performance in our late 20s. And then, from our 30s onward, the lifestyle choices we make can start this really slow, totally silent process of decline that just adds up year after year. The real window of opportunity to do something about it isn't when you start forgetting your keys in your 60s. It's right now.
Okay, so what's our first and maybe most powerful tool to prevent this? Well, let's talk about how to literally build armor for your brain, and it all starts with your body.
This right here, this is a modern problem that might hit a little too close to home for some of us. You know, you go to the gym, you crush a workout for an hour, but then you spend the next 10 hours sitting at a desk. Sound familiar? If so, you might be what researchers call active sedentary. And the science is clear that prolonged sitting, it basically shuts down key metabolic processes in your body. And it can actually increase your risk factors even if you're getting that workout in every day.
Now get ready for this, because this one might just blow your mind. It's not just about getting your heart rate up. It's about strength. In fact, some incredible studies on identical twins found that the twin with the stronger legs had a bigger, healthier brain over time. So why? Why legs? Well, when you do heavy resistance training, your muscles release these incredible chemicals called myokines, and they act like a miracle grow for your brain, protecting it and even helping it grow.
So how do we fight back against all that sitting? It's ridiculously simple. Just do this. Set an alarm on your phone for every hour you're at your desk. When it goes off, stand up, do 10 quick air squats, and get back to it. That's it. It's a tiny little habit, but it's so powerful because it interrupts that dangerous long period of sitting, and it keeps your body and your brain switched on.
Okay, so we've covered movement. But beyond that, what we put into our bodies can directly fuel our brain's defense systems. Let's talk about one of the most studied and honestly most powerful supplements on the planet.
I know what you're thinking. Creatine? Isn't that for guys trying to get huge at the gym? And yeah, it's amazing for building muscle for sure. But its benefits for your brain? They're arguably even more incredible. So let's just bust that myth right here, right now.
Your brain is an absolute energy hog. It just devours resources. And creatine is like a supercharger for it. It helps your brain cells regenerate their main energy source, ATP, way faster. That's the science, but what it feels like is your brain fog clearing and you just being sharper. It's also neuroprotective, kind of like a helmet for your brain cells against stress or even a physical injury like a concussion. And get this, it's been shown to help you think clearly even if you've had a terrible night's sleep. Some studies have even found it helps preserve cognitive function in patients who already have Alzheimer's. It's not a cure, obviously, but it is an incredibly powerful tool. All right, so we've got movement and we've got fuel. Now it's time for the third pillar, and this one might be the most underrated prevention tool of all: sleep. Seriously, think of sleep as your brain's dedicated nightly cleanup crew. So, when you fall into deep sleep, your brain turns on this amazing waste clearance system. It's incredible. The support cells in your brain, they actually shrink, opening up these channels. Then cerebrospinal fluid comes rushing through, and it literally power washes all the junk and metabolic waste that built up during the day. And that junk includes amyloid proteins, the very ones linked to Alzheimer's. It is literally a washing machine cycle for your brain, and it only runs on high when you're in deep sleep.
And if you need any more convincing, look at this. This is the immediate cost of cutting corners on sleep. Just one single night of sleep deprivation can increase the amyloid plaque in your brain by up to 5%. Now just imagine that effect. Compounding night after night, year after year. The takeaway here is an absolute non-negotiable. Great sleep isn't a luxury. It is essential, critical maintenance for your brain.
Let's get to our final piece of the puzzle here. And honestly, this one's pretty profound. It's about a very specific part of your brain, one that you can actually grow like a muscle, a part that's in charge of your grit, your resilience, your ability to just do hard things.
I want you to meet the AMCC. Neuroscientists have pinpointed this specific area as the biological home of your willpower. Here's the cool part. It physically gets bigger when we make ourselves do hard things we'd rather quit. This isn't a metaphor. It's a real, physical, trainable part of who you are.
And just like any other muscle in your body, you either use it or you lose it. It's that simple. The AMCMC grows when you push through that last rep you wanted to drop, or when you tackle that project you've been avoiding. And on the flip side, it shrinks when we always play it safe, when we avoid discomfort, and when we lead sedentary lives. So what does all this mean? It means your ability to persevere, to be gritty, isn't just some personality trait you were born with or without. It is a measurable, physical part of your brain that you are building or letting shrink every single day with your actions. Pushing through something difficult physically rewires your brain to be tougher.
And that really brings us to the final thought. Building a better, more resilient brain isn't about some huge, dramatic life change you make tomorrow. It's about the small choices. It's about movement, it's about fuel, it's about rest, and it's about the deliberate choice to do something that's a little bit hard. The 10 air squats when you'd rather sit, the extra set at the gym, just tackling a task you've been putting off. So, I'll leave you with this. What hard thing are you going to do today to build a better brain for all your tomorrows?